And we're back with another outstanding episode of the Square Table Degenerates podcast. Today we are joined by Entrepreneur and Restauranteer, Miss Barbara Bradford-Williams of JB's Grill. How are you today, ma'am?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. It snowed outside, and I'm not cool with that. It's March. Recording this March 11th. Well, it's live, but March 11th. If you're watching this in future, it's March 11th, and it shouldn't be snowing 3-4 inches
That's
a month.
okay.
But I mean,
next
it is
week gonna be great.
Right, next week.
St. Patrick's Day, kicking it.
I hope it's 90 degrees next week. Maybe it's gonna be 80. Like 70 was nice. It was 70 last Saturday, man. It was really nice. It was really cool.
Yes,
man.
It was.
Fuck. So, I'm assuming you were born in Cleveland. Is that right?
Yes, I was.
All right. So that's good. So you grew up in Cleveland too.
Oh yeah.
How many brothers and sisters did you have growing up?
0 and 0. I was the only child.
You were an only child. I've known you for 30-something years. I've never known that. That's so wild.
Yeah.
That's so wild.
Yeah, isn't it?
So being an only child, did you have a lot of opportunities to just have a lot of featured fun? Did you go hang out with your cousins, uncles, aunts? Where'd you go running around and do when you were little?
Oh yeah, I kicked it with my cousins. They were like my brothers and sisters, and we got into so much trouble. We was bad. We was bad, but we was good. You know, we just was curious on a lot of stuff that was going on in the world. And we was always some hustlers. So whenever you seen us, we was on the grind.
Now, you obviously had your grandparents in your life back then. How often did you hang out with your grandpas? Did you say in the past you say your grandpa had a restaurant, correct? Now, did you grow up in this restaurant? How often were you hanging out with your grandparents back then?
I go to my grandparents' house like every other week, and we would go to the restaurant and I'd play in the cash register and write down some orders, you know, just having fun being a kid. I was like about second grade. And I was all in the business, being nosy, trying to figure out what was going on. But, you know, that was the cool part about it, because that's why I'm doing what I'm doing today, because of my grandparents and my parents, watching them work and how they, you know, because they are my whole family. We all is just self-employed entrepreneurs. Like, we never really worked for nobody else. And that's crazy. And it's just been going on from generation to generation. And now my kids work for me, but they about to take over, you know? So it's kind of like history repeating itself over and over and over again, which is cool.
Heck yeah, taking over the family business. Now, what was the name of your grandpa's restaurant back in the day? Your grandparents'
Bradford's.
It's called Bradford's. Okay,
Bradford Soul Food.
Okay, and that's your maiden name, obviously. Now, so where was it? Where was the original location of Bradford Soul Food? Was it at your spot, or was it around there, like in that neighborhood, Slavic Village, or where was it?
Up Harvard, where J.F. Kennedy was at. So it's like up like 170th Harvard.
Okay, so that's a little bit up there. So that's because you're at 66th in Harvard now, right?
Yeah, I'm damn near in Newburgh.
Okay, that's right. Because I get off the freeway, I go right through Newburgh. All right, we got a question from Hobo. He's down in. Well, he was down in Canton. He says, "Do you use the turbo trusser? Do you even know what that is? The turbo trusser.
What is that? Turbo
trusser is it's a thing to properly cook turkey with. One of my buddies sells. I'll have to link you a website. It's actually really. Well, it's like I'd have to explain it. He's just kind of informally advertising here, but yeah, it was like God. Hobo, explain what the turbo trusser is in the chat, because I'm not a salesman for that product.
Like a deep fryer?
Yeah, I think it's like to help deep fry the turkey and hold it in the right place. They can explain it. But yeah, I'll have to show you how and check it out. It's pretty slick. Now, let's see. When you were up there in your grandparents' restaurant, playing restaurant, did you think later on you were going to be doing this, or did you have other? As you just
I never thought I was going to be in a restaurant field, because you know, my mom, she is in a daycare field. So when I got older, like 13, 14 years old, I started working at the daycare. So, you know, and that's why I work with kids. So no, I never thought I was going to be a cook or catering or anything like that.
Okay. Now, besides cheerleading and basketball, we'll get into that a little bit later. All right. What sports or activities did you do when you're like grade school, middle school?
Everything from track and field to volleyball to basketball, cheerleading, drill team, you named it. We was the all around kid. We thought we was gonna be superstars.
All right, now think back. You're 10 years old. What did you think you wanted to be when you wanted to grow up?
A lawyer.
You want to be a lawyer? Okay. Mm-hmm. At what point did the lawyer dream get derailed?
I guess because I was like, I wanted to do something that was fun. And I don't think being a lawyer is fun. It's good money, but you can make good money being an entrepreneur.
Oh, yeah, you can make sales and everything else is way more better paying than lawyership.
Exactly.
Whatever they call it. You got to go to school for like 3 extra years after college, and it's all ridiculous, man. And the student loans are backbreaking. I'm not trying to handle student loans. Now, at what point did you first start playing organized basketball?
CYO, when I was in St. Catherine. I played, 5th through 8th grade.
Okay, so fifth grade is when you start playing. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I'm assuming you never dunked because you're only like 5'6", maybe.
No.
We'll be general. You might not even be 5'6". I don't know. But at what point were you? How old were you in your first grade? Your first 3-pointer? Do you remember?
5th grade.
5th grade, right off the rip, huh? What position did they have you at? Were you running the point?
Guard.
You were guard. Okay. Now, at what point did you start the cheerleading?
9th grade.
9th grade. Okay, so you didn't start until you got in high school. So you were you were basketball, and then you hit high school and decided to do cheerleading. All right. Now, what did you like more in between the cheerleading and the basketball?
I would say working. I would hurry up and leave practice and go to work and make that bread. So I'll be working at McDonald's, Subway, those restaurants that was by the school. And that's what I love to do. I mean, I love to work.
So you were balancing time even back in high school, because I played football freshman, sophomore year, and once I got able to start working, I didn't have no time for football practice. I mean, you were lifting weights and running drills and hit each other, and I would have been drained. I mean, how did you balance? So did that, lead you to greater life? Because you're always busy. Like when I ask, hey, Barb, what's up? It's like we got to schedule stuff several weeks out. I mean, did you start balancing your time schedule when you were in high school? Was that when you learned to balance your time good? I mean, what were your grades like? I don't remember.
I think that's what helped me. Everything that I did in high school, everything that I learned, it kind of grew with me. So I was able to balance stuff. Like we in high school, we go to school, we leave school, go to practice. And sometimes we got games, then we got to work, then we got homework. We was always constantly doing something in high school. So that kind of like stuck with me throughout when I started growing up. It never went away.
All right. Now, did you consider any other high schools besides Central Catholic? Or what drew you to Central Catholic?
It was close to home. Just one bus, and it was convenient.
Okay. What if you would have went to Cleveland Public? What school would you have went to? Do you know?
Probably John Hay.
Okay. I don't even know what everyone went to, because all my buddies went to West Tech, but I think like everybody from my neighborhood got shipped over to like, what was it? Maybe East Tech now? Not East Tech. What was the other one? There was another one over there. Shit, another high school on the east side. I mean, it might have been John Hay. Or no, not Marshall's not. Marshall's on the west side. I'm trying to think of there was another school over there that on the east side. It'll come to me later, but they used to always like, oh yeah, I gotta get us to clear over to blah. Might have been Collinwood, I think, something like that. For those who don't know what we're talking about, back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, to combat segregation at the time, a lot of the white people lived on the west side, and a lot of the black people.
That's when they started it. Yeah.
They started busing people different sides of town to combat segregation.
They went to, like roads and all on the west side. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And back then the schools were a joke. I mean, I had buddies who went to West Tech, and they would just, as soon as roll call hit, they would just not roll call. In the morning, whatever the thing is, you know what they're talking about. You first get graded in school and they see if you're there. Attendance. As soon as attendance was done, half the school would just walk out the front door and go.
Like we here.
So it's a little bit ridiculous back in the 90s, man. So let's see where we're at. All right, so why didn't our school have more cheerleaders? Do you remember that? Because we had a lot of kids. I remember looking at the pictures, only like 2-3 cheerleaders for everything. What was up with the cheerleading squad?
They didn't want to do cheerleading. Cheerleading was kind of like everybody wanted to do drill team. They really didn't want to be a cheerleader. So that's just me. Everybody wanted to do drill team. I said, well, I'm gonna do something different. So I decided to be a cheerleader, and boom, I was like the first Black cheerleader. So that's just me. I'm always different. I'm not I'm a leader, not a follower.
Now, did you consider drill? Were you ever on drill team, or did you consider drill team, or was that just too much to handle beyond, cheerleading, basketball?
No, I considered it, but after everybody wanted to do that, I said, well, y'all go ahead and I'll just be the cheerleader. They was like, well, you ain't gonna be no cheerleader because they real stiff and they real this and that. I'm like, and there I was 4 years straight, cheerleader.
Oh, so you did all 4 years. Okay, that's gonna be my next question. Did you do basketball and cheerleading all 4 years, or what?
You couldn't do both. It was one or the other.
Okay. So when you got to high school, did you play basketball?
No.
Oh,
you couldn't do both because the games was like on the same days.
Yeah, that's right. They're both like winter sports, stuff like that. Okay, now think back to them high school years when we had the basketball teams. Aside from like Earl Boykins, who's obviously the best player, probably the best player ever went to high school. What were the top players? Let's say top 5 players at Central when you were there in cheerleading. In your opinion, besides all.
It was Jamon, of course.
Obviously.
My husband. Then it was Javier Smith.
He was a quarterback too.
Ray Rivosky.
Ray. I remember Ray.
And maybe Sean Bodner.
Sean Bodner. Oh, I remember Sean Bodner. God, there's a name I heard in 30 years. Wow. Bodner. I think he played football too, if I remember. Wow. Was Jack Johnson and who else? I'm trying to think who else was that. Oh, Ellis was on there too. Ellis was playing varsity for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's a throwback. That's nice. All right, now, do you remember, like back then, Trinity High School? Why was that girls' team so good? Do you remember that?
They had the best players, and they players went to college, and I think somebody was in the WNBA. I mean, they were just that good. They recruited. They had a recruiting team out of this world. So when they would scout, the kids that were upcoming, going to high school, and then they would work with them. They seen that they were really good, and they just said, "Come with us, and you can go to a Catholic school for free." And they just became stars.
That was wild, man. They would have games. They would play teams. It'd be like 85-6 and shit. Like, it was just so dominant. Like,
they were that excellent. Yes, I remember.
I don't even know why they would allow that to. I mean, nowadays they don't allow it too much. I think
they should have been in another league.
Oh, they really should have. I mean,
really. I mean, they should have been in another league because they were. I mean, could nobody beat them?
Now, now for those who don't remember or don't realize this, me and Barb went to the same high school. Now, back then, Cleveland Central Catholic High School had 2 campuses, Foreman and Scranton. Now, how old? When was your first time coming to Scranton? Did you have any freshman classes at Scranton?
11th grade, junior year.
Okay, junior year. So that was because of the chemistry class, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now let's settle this record straight. Where did the chemistry teacher hide that vodka?
I don't know. But he was lit every time we came in. I mean, we would be just cracking up like he was ready.
There was this teacher, God rest his soul, Mr. Brooks. He passed away like when we were in high school, actually, their senior year.
He did.
But he was our chemistry teacher, and he taught physics too. But man, he would come into the room and he would smell straight like vodka. Straight like he would start yelling. He was a great teacher. He knew his chemistry stuff, but my goodness.
Right.
That boy just drank. I don't know. Back then they just looked the other way and you couldn't really keep track of it. He would just go we'd be sitting there doing a bunch of chemistry equations. He would disappear into the lab for like 5-10 minutes, go drink a bunch of vodka, and come back in looking all space-eyed and she was great.
Right. Right.
Now, which campus did you like better, Scranton or Foreman?
Foreman.
I would say Foreman's probably the better campus overall. I mean, they expanded a lot. Over there. They had that pool. Remember that? They still had that swimming pool over there in the basement. I haven't been back to the school in forever, man. That was wild. Now, when you graduated high school, did you ever think about joining the Army or the service or anything like that?
No.
What'd you do right out of high school? Did you go to college? Because there was like
I
many
went to
years.
college and worked. I worked
Okay.
a few jobs, maybe like 3 jobs. And I went to college and got a degree in early childhood education. And in 1998, I believe, I started working in daycare as an administrator. So I was making good money. So I said, shoot, after doing all the paperwork and finding out how much they was making, I said, oh no, I'm about to open me up daycare. I'm already running it. I'm already doing everything. I might as well get my own. So I saved my money up, and it took a minute because, I mean, of course, startup money and everything that you need. But I say like within 4 years, I opened up my own daycare. I was like 20. Right, I was like 28.
Okay, so the daycare came before the restaurant?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't realize that. Well, I guess we didn't have Facebook back then, so I couldn't really keep track of it.
Right. Daycare was before the restaurant.
Okay, so at what point did you open up the restaurant? What time frame was this?
That was about 7 years ago. So I would say 2015.
Okay. So I pretty much known the whole time you had the restaurant open. Mm-hmm. So from the time you opened the daycare to the time you started the restaurant, you were just doing the daycare. Were there any other side projects in between that time frame?
It was just daycare, strictly daycare. I had I was running a lot of daycares, and then I went to open up, expand, and try to do something else, of course. So that's when I did the restaurant, when it was vacant.
Okay. Now, how did you come across the name JB Grill? How did that come about?
From Jamon and Barb, because we started it together. When we saw it, we like, you want to get a restaurant? He liked to cook. I like to cook. So we just put JB together.
Okay. Now, was there any other alternate locations you were considering, or that spot was the first and only spot you've ever had?
That was the only spot that was available and the only spot that had everything ready to go. Like I literally opened up the next day after I got the keys.
Oh, nice. What was the restaurant that was in there before? Do you know?
It was called Mo's Grill.
Mo's Grill. Okay, so was it similar style, probably similar soul food, or what was Mo's Grill?
No soul food. It was more like chicken and gyros, corned beef, stuff like that.
Okay. Now, what was the first special you remember doing?
Ooh, it had to been a Cavalier special. When I started off, I was like, we're going to do some Cavalier players. So we did like the LeBron James. It was this big ass Polish boy, and we called it the King James. I know you probably remember that. And we did the Kevin Love, and we did the Kyrie Burger, things like that.
That was actually my next question. When did you first get the sweet idea of naming sandwiches off the local players and all that? Now, what periods did you start experiencing the biggest surges? Was it the Super Bowl, Cavs playoffs? Like, when did you start noticing it was really going to stick? I mean, at first you probably had been real nervous. Was the Cavs playoffs and everything at the time? I mean, at the time, LeBron, for those who don't remember, this is 2015. As LeBron was peak in the Cleveland years. I mean, he was here until 18, but we had the run of 4 years in a row. We went to the title game. Was that when you got a lot of the peak business? And when did you notice that?
Yeah, that's when
you were going to stick.
Yeah, that's when everybody was coming. Like when we had the Cavalier specials, when they was hot. I mean, people was calling like crazy. Like, let me get 4 LeBrons. Let me get 2 Kevin Loves. Like they knew exactly what the menu was, and they were just calling like crazy. That's when they was hot. I'm telling you, they had us on fire.
Oh, yeah. And there was this burger called the 12-gauge burger. Now, is anything named after former Buckeye Cardell Jones? No, I emailed him. You got to get him on the show because I emailed him. He needs to hit me up. I think he saw the email because I checked a couple of shows I sent me and he saw him. But was anybody ever to beat my 4 minutes and 30 seconds record for this burger?
No. I
bet you know it was even close. Nobody's probably even tried it if we're being real.
No one can even come close to your record.
To be fair, I've always been a fast eater, man. Even the service, I was like one of the fastest eaters. And I won a pizza eating contest back in 95. And I couldn't competitive eat, though, because, we tried once on the show to do a hot dog eating contest. And I beat Pat 13-9. But, man, oh, God, that's so bad. Think about 13 hot dogs in your stomach. I gained like 8 pounds that day. Like what they don't show you. What they don't show you on the TV.
Contest one day.
What these guys don't show you on the TV, like the Joey Chestnuts and all that. After they're done, they just everything comes right back out. They don't digest that stuff, man.
I be wondering, like, oh my God.
Digested 13 hot dogs, bro. It does not feel good. That is not good stuff. I do not recommend competitive eating unless you're trained for that stuff. Like get somebody who's been in the business and follow them for a little bit, because it's not fun if you're not doing it normally.
Right.
All right, now these I kind of jumped the gun because I always thought you did the childcare afterwards. But at what point did you start, after the business, start branching out into other stuff like the community outreach and the tax prep and all that? And how do you find time for all this stuff? Like, when did you decide to
Right, Joe? That's a good question.
Was it the entrepreneurial stuff that just kept you going, or how did it work?
Yeah, so by me, the type of boss that I am, I train everybody to do my job. So that allows me to branch out and do other stuff, and then other stuff, and then other stuff. So when I hire people to actually take control of the business. Okay. So when I started the outreach program, it was so simple that basically the jobs that I create, the only thing I have to do is invest the money, and people going to take care of it. So it's no way I could be 10 places at one time. It's 10 businesses all together. Okay. I can't be 10 places at all one time. I got people that's set up to do the job. And all I have to do is call. Everything okay? You need anything? Oh no, Barb, we're good. And that's that.
Okay. So you just basically got a sub boss basically in charge of all not everything, I'm assuming, but like the bigger stuff. Obviously you got employees and whatnot, but you got like people, main reports, and that helps you a lot with your main stuff. Is your husband and kids involved in that part? I mean, what's their role right now?
Well, everybody play their role. So everybody steps in and do what they need to do. Even the little one, Jazz, she knows what to do when I say, hey, we're coming to work. I put her in the literacy place. She reads to the kids, clean up, whatever. Everybody play their role. So that's how you train the kids. That's how you train your staff. So you can operate other facilities and, have other streams of income and things of that nature.
Now, where did Jazz come up with the lemonade? Where's that recipe? I mean, did she just make that up, or she,
I can't tell. But you know what? She started lemonade when she was 5. She made her own lemonade. And I was like, this is good. So she just started making it. We started selling it.
It really is good lemonade. If you haven't got a chance, we'll get into the details of some of that here in a minute. But yeah, that lemonade is really good. I got to get some back to some of that. Now, any of these TV appearances you make, does it make you nervous, or is it just old hat after a while?
I'm so used to it, Joe. I just be like, okay, let's go. I done been on there so many times, and it's basically my story is my story, and it doesn't change. So when I go out and tell people how I started and what I do for a living and what's going on, it's the same thing. Nothing has changed. Everything is consistent. So I just tell my story.
Now, what time do you have to get up and start cooking food when you're on a morning show? I mean, you have like 2 a.m. What's the deal with that?
You got that right. About 3 a.m.
3 a.m. So how does that work? Just kind of put it all in foil and just bring it up there? Do you got a heat lamp, or is there?
Yeah. So I whatever I cook, I cook it, and then I gotta take it with me, get the warmers and everything, and set it up. Just like if I was doing a catering job or a party. Okay.
I mean, the exposure is well worth it, but yeah, I mean, you couldn't do that every morning. It would be you drive yourself.
Hell no. Hell no.
Now, do they put special TV makeup on you, or is it just whatever you bring to the party?
You just come as you is. They ain't doing all that. So
right,
you gotta be glamorous the day before.
Well, I imagine too, if you're out there, you're cooking and you got hot food there, if you got makeup on, I'd probably just run all over the place anyways.
I'd be a mess. I'd be a mess, but I say, hey, it is what it is. It's part of the job.
Right. Nothing else you can do with it. Now, how did you feel back in March 2020 when all the COVID news started dropping?
I ain't gonna lie, Joe. I ain't know how I was gonna make it, because I never experienced not being able to serve my regular customers, not being able to open. Then we had to wait and see what was going on. Then they said, okay, well, the carry out, you can do carry out, but you can't do dine in, people can't come in. It was so crazy. But Joe, I'm not gonna lie to you. I made the most money during the pandemic than I did regularly. You know what I'm saying? Because I pivot so hard. Like I created services like, look, we gonna bring you your meals every day. You ain't gotta go out the house. You know, people scared to get out the house. So I'm like, I'm gonna bring you your food every day. I mean, I worked it. I worked it.
Yeah, well, that's my next question, actually. How much of stuff were you just kind of making up on the spot then? I mean, obviously it was an unprecedented time. I mean, was there any like new random things you're just like, okay, that sounds good, and you just rolled with it, or just kind of whatever happened at that point?
I rolled with the punches. I thought of all types of stuff. And the biggest thing was my biggest contract was the schools, because they was just like, I need 200 lunches. I need this, I need that. And I'm like, I'm there. You know what I'm saying? So I had to step outside the box. I never did that. I never catered to schools, but I had to do what I had to do.
Yeah. So all things considered, you think you weathered that storm pretty good. I mean, you just said you had your best months during COVID. So you all in all,
when everything opened back up slowly, then then you felt it going down, because I didn't have those school contracts, or I didn't have all these. I didn't have to deliver meals to people every day. I didn't have those type of contracts anymore. But it still worked out, because now we're able to pick up where we left off.
Yeah. Now these panels and I'm trying to think of the words here, but like the symposiums you do, like all the minority business stuff. Now, explain like what ones do you have coming up, and what like do you win, or what can you win when you got coming up? You know what I'm saying? Like I know there's the chain reaction and all that. What's like the biggest one you could win, or like what are the prizes, and how do you get on this stuff?
The chain reaction is pretty dope. That's why I stay in it, win or lose. Because you're going to walk away with something. If it's not exposure, it's going to be somebody that's going to remember that you was on TV, and they're going to pay you a visit, or people going to call you and say, I seen you on TV. The exposure is great. The prize money is great too, depending on what it is. It changes every year. Sometimes you get an investor, or sometimes you get prize money. I think this year we got $3,000. I mean, everything is good when you're getting it. So just to make an appearance and get money and exposure, you can't lose.
Heck no. Now, considering all the community stuff you're doing and all that, and considering the status of Cleveland, have you ever considered like running for political office or anything like
that? People tell me all the time I would be good for all types of stuff. But here's the thing. When you run for stuff like that, I have a lot of business in the area. So if I'm running for a certain city, you can't have this or you can't have that. It's so many stipulations people don't know. So it's like, you're not gonna quit your job to be a council person or whatever like that. You know what I'm saying? Because the money just ain't right. So I just participate and just be a leader in the community instead.
Okay, that's it. I mean, any way you're making a difference is the way you're making a difference. I mean, shit. Mm-hmm. Not everybody running for office is a lot of time, man. It really is. You're out there campaigning.
Yeah, exactly. I can't do that.
That would be like 3 businesses of what you got going on right now. It'd be ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if someone came up to you and said, "Hey, Barb, why should I visit Cleveland? And specifically, why should I visit your restaurant?" What would you tell them?
Because everything we do is, first of all, my family works in a restaurant. So you're not going to somewhere where it's different people. It's the same people all the time. It's like you got your own private chef, and we know our customers. Like if a customer walk in, I know exactly what you about to order because you order all the time. Or if you switch up, I still know what you about to order. So it's more of a bond with us in our restaurant. And then it's a legacy because my children are getting trained to run that restaurant or to own it one day. So I would say, visit me and support me because it's a legacy thing. And not only that, 10% of our sales go towards the kids.
Nice.
So when you come in and buy a meal, just know you are feeding a kid as well.
Nice. Now, my personal favorite thing you make is your burgers. I love your burgers. The way the cheese melts in your burgers is phenomenal. Now, what would you say is your favorite food out of the stuff that you make? I mean, you got to obviously eat your own cooking because you only got so much time in the day. What is your personal favorite?
I love everything, but my favorite would be cheese Joe. God. I would go with you with the burgers because our burgers are fresh, never frozen. It's made to order. And it's it's tasty. You can taste the flavors and everything that we do to the burger. It's like we make it with love. It's not a rush job. And we just make sure that everything on your burger is the way that we would want it. And it tastes like we want it to taste like. So there you have it.
Now, these food prices right now, how are you dealing with them? And is there a point where the shit gets so expensive that you would have to pause operations, or what's your feelings on that?
I just raise my price. They don't care.
Oh, okay. People still buy it? Okay. Mm-hmm. Nice.
They tell me all the time. I don't care. I'm going to still buy it. So I just say, okay. We always tell the customers, like for instance, the chicken. Everybody everywhere chicken is high. Oh, yeah. So our wingdings are $1. It used to be 75 cents. So we would tell them over the phone, like, well, the wings are high now. It's $1 each. They fine with it. Everybody's fine with the prices, so it didn't affect us as much because it balanced out.
Now, when you're gauging your prices, do you is there a firm you hire for marketing? You just kind of look around at the local spots are similar to you. How do you get them? I mean, you do have some of the best prices in town. I mean, it's a very competitive food price. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, you got some amazing specials. How do you figure out the price point for something like that for all your stuff?
Well, we do shop around and we do go with the lowest price, but we also do quality, make sure that everything is quality. That's more important than anything. So we factor in the labor costs, how much it takes to make this and how much it costs to, the packaging, the containers and everything. Everything went up, everything. So we factor all that in our prices. And it's still the lowest price in town.
It really is.
I check the competitors' menus all the time. I'm always looking at other people's websites, seeing if we're too high or too low, and we're right there. We right, like I said, still the lowest price in town.
Well, it's crazy because you look at the places like McDonald's, for example. I'm not gonna throw McDonald's under the bus, but whatever. I mean, they're a giant corporation; they don't affect me. Like a quarter pounder with cheese is like $6-7. They're $5-6 now. I mean, you got burgers that are similar, if not bigger than that in price. When
we got fat burgers,
and they're gigantic.
That's cheaper than that.
Exactly, and they're made to order, and it's fresh meat, so it's not like it's frozen. You're getting the patties,
right? It is not that thin ass patty; it's real ground beef. Yes.
Now, when you make your fries, how do you make? What kind of? Do you got to cut them up yourself? Does it? Is there a machine that does it?
We have the fries that come in a bag. It's already pre-cut.
Okay, I remember those from Long John Silver's back in the day. You just dump them in the fryer and roll with it. Now, how do you come up with the inspirations for? I mean, obviously, it's a lot of soul food. So, explain to people, because sometimes you post stuff, and I'm not gonna lie, I gotta look it up because I'm not really culturally familiar with it, like stuff like oxtails. And now, explain to me oxtails. Now, I mean, I looked it up.
That's Southern stuff. That's what my customers love.
Yeah, and I looked it up, and it was like a food, some originated in Jamaica, I think, or. And the way they came up with it was like they only had like so many parts left of the animal, and they mixed it in with the soup. Now, explain what is oxtail? See, I know some of this stuff. Now, how do you make? I mean, how do you buy oxtails? You just get them as a big.
Well, when we get them from the store, they cut them up for us, and how I do mine is after I rinse them off, I put them in a pot and I boil them. I boil them like like how you would boil. I boil them just to get the tenderness and the marination going, and all the flavor. That's why I boil it and put my ingredients in there. Then after they boil for like 3 hours, I take them out and I put them in the oven. I put it in the oven and I put gravy over it. So now it tastes like roast, like a roast.
Okay. Now explain to me the chitterlings. Now you right. I still kind of don't understand it. I mean, it's like a bunch of parts I'm gathering, but like when you explain, like you say you clean chitterlings for people. Now, what does that consist of, and what are chitterlings, and what is that kind of like a stuffing?
Man, Joe, I'm telling you, chitterlings is hard to clean. Okay, that's why we charge so much. You have to really, really know what you're doing, because if you don't, it's not gonna be right. It's not gonna be right. So chitterlings are pig intestines, by the way. So when they come out, it's real stringy, and I can't even explain, but it's real stringy and it's real nasty. It stinks so bad because it's intestines. So you got bowel movements. You know what that is. Everything is inside the intestines, and you have to clean it. Yeah.
All right. So then you clean it out, and then how do you you just give it back to them then? I mean, when you have your own chitterlings, do you deep fry them? What's the process after you clean them off?
You gotta boil them. Okay, so after you clean them, and then, like I said, you gotta clean them suckers like 5 times. Seriously, you gotta keep going through them, stop. Keep going through them, stop. Then once they all clean, then you leave them in a sink, and then you rinse them off. You gotta rinse them off like 10 times. Okay, make sure they're real clean. And then you put them in this big old slave pot. That's what they call it. It's a big old pot that you put them in, and you let them cook for like 6 hours.
Man. And then
it's a lot of work. It's a whole lot of work.
That's crazy. I mean, have they always been cooked like that? I mean, it seems like so much unnecessary work.
That's why I don't, Joe. I only cook them. I might cook them 5 times a year. I don't be bothered with them. I do they like them like Easter. They like them Thanksgiving, Christmas. That's when everybody likes them.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably not gonna try the chitterlings just because I don't. I mean, it sounds like something you got to grow up with. I think. I mean, it's so labor intensive for such minimal flavor.
If you don't like them by now, you ain't gonna like them.
There's like so many other parts to the pig. Right, you got you get the pig snouts, even pig's feet, and then they're not even considering bacon and ham. I mean, that's good stuff, man. It's that pig's a great animal when you think about it. Now, is there any food that somebody's requesting you're like, I just can't make that either because of we got on the chitterlings with how long it takes, or just because it's too expensive? Any unusual requests for food on the menu that you're just like, I can't do that?
I make whatever they want.
Okay, so somebody was like, okay, I want fried caviar. You'll make it happen if I got the $300 for it?
Okay, nah. Not that. No.
Now, what Lent, do you have any Lent specials? Like, do you have any fish you cook, or what's
the weekends, all fish dinners are $10. And that's a good deal because you can get whatever fish you want.
It is a really good deal because I mean, a lot of the fish fries are like $15 just for the fries and the stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. All right. So besides the stuff we've already talked about, you got anything else coming up to promote?
What? We doing a lot of stuff for Easter for the kids. So we got a fundraiser, of course. Every dinner that is sold, $5, whole $5 goes towards Easter baskets, Easter candy, and things of that nature. So we plan on this time going to different shelters because we haven't done that yet. So we're going to go to the women's and kids shelters and give them Easter baskets. Okay. Now, is the website jbgrill.com? jbgrillsoulfood.com. Oh, jbgrillsoulfood.com. All right, I was going to pop that on the thing here. jbgrillsoulfood.com. Mm-hmm. Right, there's the website right here. So, how do people get a hold of you? Facebook is probably your best bet, or how did Facebook is your best bet.
All right,
That's
so
like instant.
All right, so if you want to get some of Barb's food at JB, or just get a hold of Barb, follow her on Facebook. I'll hook you up if you don't see it. All her posts are public. You can even follow her. Her friends limit has been increased. And if you come to Cleveland, you gotta stop out and get some food. Next time we'll have you up, I think or maybe I don't even have to have you up. I can just order some food and bring it on the show for sure. But we're gonna definitely
get you some food on the show.
I know it's been a hot minute since I got out there, man. I don't think I've ordered in the past year actually. I can't remember. I used to Barb. One thing about Barb, you don't ever realize, is that Barb's very nice. She will, like, if you're a vet, she'll hook you up on Veterans Day. If it's your birthday, she knows about it. She'll slide you that. She's really good with the little stuff she doesn't talk about. That's what I really like about Barb. It's really good stuff, man. So Barb, thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It was fun.
Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. But everybody else, subscribe if you haven't already. Come out Monday. On Monday at 8 o'clock, we're gonna have wrestler Eric Redbeard. I can't even fucking talk. Eric Redbeard's gonna be joining us Monday at 8, and next Friday, Javante Moffitt will be on at 9:30. For those of you following the show, we'll be in Chicago tomorrow for the Cavs Bulls game. I gotta check the score. So thanks everybody for stopping out. Thanks, Barb, for coming out. I appreciate you so much.
Right.
And we'll talk to you guys next week. Appreciate it, guys.
Okay, see you later.
All right.
Bye-bye.